Hello everyone, I'm Lee Nakamoto from DViceNews.com. That's DViceNews.com. Here to give you a quick overview of the Motorola Droid 2. Thanks again to our friends at Verizon Wireless. You've probably seen the unboxing, so you know what comes in the box. So let me just turn it on here, and we will talk a little bit more about the handset and what we've learned this past week playing with it. Be good if I press the power button. There we go. If you notice, it's on the top of the handset right there. On the side, you've got a rocker switch, volume up and down, dedicated camera button. Any camera phone as a minimum should have that. I think there's even a PR sticker. Thank you, Verizon. On the bottom of it, you can see there's a little microphone hole, and on the left-hand side, you've got a mini USB connection there. There we go. It's powering on. So this big red eye staring at you. My first thoughts on the big red eye. For those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans, you'll recognize the Eye of Sauron looking at you. Personally, there it goes. I highly recommend changing the wallpaper as soon as you get it before you start to believe that somebody is indeed watching over your every move. First things you're going to notice, let's put it next to an iPhone 3GS. Relatively similar sizes, with the difference that the screen size is significantly bigger on the Droid 2. On the profile side, you can see you've got that extra thickness and bulk from the keyboard, which is expected. The keyboard is what actually attracted me to the first Droid, but I didn't like it because it was hard to feel where the keys were. And you can see here clearly that these keys are raised, so the engineers at Motorola have figured it out. Strange thing is they've added an extra piece of plastic on the base of the phone, so when you're going to type, you actually have to reach further over with your right hand. So maybe one of the engineers had a longer right hand fingers? I don't know. Alright, anyways, overall, the phone quality has been excellent. I've been getting lots of calls from all my friends and people testing it, and of course I'm saying, hey, I'm talking on the newest handset that you don't have yet. My wife actually thinks I sound better on this phone, which makes me wonder what it would have been like if I had this phone in puberty when my voice was changing and cracking. People would have liked me more, maybe. Alright, so let's unlock it here. I've got an interactive wallpaper there. You can see that galaxy spinning around. It's kind of cool. With the screen size like this, 3.7-inch touchscreen, 40 by 854 resolution, you're going to see things are incredibly clear. The pictures from the camera itself, being a photo buff, I would say are exceptional. If you hold the camera button down, it'll automatically switch to photo mode. There we go. And just to be funny, let's take a picture of my old phone. See, halfway down is going to autofocus. Second one down brings in the focus, and you'll see it's a 5-megapixel camera in the upper left-hand corner. The reason I said upper left-hand corner, if it was in the middle of the phone or in the bottom right-hand corner, you'd notice you'd get fingerprints all over it. But again, those engineers at Motorola are smart people. One other thing you'll notice is there's a grill in the back. For those of you low-riders and people who like your music, there's 2 speakers on each of the sides of it, so you have stereo sound. And again, if you're holding it in your right hand or your left hand, your hand will act as a natural horn, deflecting the sound up to you. And this beats my other friend here, because in order to deflect the sound, I have to hold it on the bottom. You see the speakers on the very bottom? To get the same deflection of sound, I've got to hold it at some really awkward position that gives me cramps. If you've had cramps, write to us as well. Maybe we'll ask Apple to put speakers in the back. Alright, so back to the handset. Let's go. The 4 haptic buttons. Same with most phones nowadays. You'll have a menu, home, back, and a search function, which if you click search, automatically brings up voice search, which is really useful. Android. Alright, let's see if it found that. Did I mean 1 billion? No, 1 trillion. Alright, it doesn't understand my poor version of English. It's not my fault. I am FOB. And for those of you who don't know, it means fresh off the boat. Japanese. Alright, again with this handset, it comes with a very, very smart 1 GHz Texas Instrument processor, incredibly fast. Light years rings around my iPhone and my HTC Hero and the original Droid. 2.2 Froyo comes preloaded, so you don't need to wait. So for all you people out there waiting for an over-the-air update, with some of the older handsets, you can just watch our videos and see what it's like. It's very cool until you get it. I just want to show it off and rub it in again. This is cool. Alright, for wireless connections you've got plenty, 802.11a, or sorry, B and G, Wi-Fi, BT 2.1 plus EDR, GPS, 2 basebands, 800 and 1900, CDMA, EVDO, Revision A, and mobile hotspot ready for an extra fee. I believe it's $20 a month. The handset itself is $199.99 with a rebate. When you go to the front, you'll see you can slide across. There are indeed 7 customizable home screens. For those of you who've had your Android phones, it's really easy. You just drag and drop an icon, put it where you want, so you can add applications, widgets, any number of things. Car dock was a very cool feature that I've been using. Let's click on that. Just click the disclaimer. Alright, and you'll see it's very much like a Garmin or any other popular GPS out there. Click on My Locations, and of course everything's seamlessly tied into Google with Google Maps. And if you're walking, you can put it in walking view and it actually goes down to street view level. So you can watch and see the overlays of the buildings in front of you. And the funny thing is, my neighbor was in front of his house when the Google Street Map people were driving by. So when I was walking by his house, I could see him in the image, and obviously he was wearing different clothes the day I walked by. It's not updated every moment. One thing I learned while I was researching this handset and Google itself is that there were initially 300,000 downloads of Windows Phone 7 Mobile Operating System SDK, which is the standard development kit for those of you who don't play too much in the tech world. And what that means is 300,000 people had the capability of building applications for Windows Phone 7. That sounds like a big number, but if you put it over a comparable 4-month period of time, in November of '07, when Android was launched, there were 750,000 downloads. One thing, though, is just because you downloaded it doesn't mean people were devising and building apps with it. So it doesn't correlate directly. But if you look at Apple, they've had already 225,000 apps with about 5 billion downloads. And Android being second place, really far behind, actually not that far. They've had 100,000 apps with 1 billion downloads. So being second place and having 1 billion probably isn't something that's concerning Android too much, especially because they have more handsets in the marketplace now. You can show off a few things of this handset with your friends, the drop-down window, which the iPhone can't do. One thing I noticed, though, is on Advanced Task Killer, every time I open up my handset, there are tons of apps that are open, but I never noticed that it slowed things down. So I guess that 1 gig processor does make a significant difference. If you look here, I'm just going to open up a browser window real quick, and let's go to DViceNews.com. There we go. And I know we've got some YouTube videos and Flash videos uploaded onto our site. Really cool thing about this is you can play those videos inline without having to open up a separate application. So once Apple gets Flash, well, they'll never get Flash, they're going to go HTML5, they'd be able to do cool things like this too. One thing with regards to Flash, I went to a couple Flash gaming websites just to try them out, and they didn't actually play that well on this handset. The reason being is because there's no mouse with clickable buttons on the handset. You can see that there's a YouTube video loading inline. I don't think that's going to be an issue for most people because Flash gaming on a Droid handset is relatively new, and so there you go. Within time, people will work with this interface and develop more intuitive games to work without a mouse. As far as navigation, you can go to websites with Flash drop-down menus. Everything works seamlessly well. I'm quite happy with that. Let me put my hand underneath here, turn the volume up a little.
I find that since I've been in the Gulf a couple of
Listen
times,
to it.
I really kind of
Crystal clear sound. That's the sound quality as well when you're on a call. So overall, I'm very pleased with this handset. It's got pinch controls as well when you're browsing, which makes it easy. Skype Mobile comes preloaded. There we go. So you can make free phone calls, but considering most of you have an unlimited data plan when you buy a handset like this, that's not really going to bother you too much. There is 8 gigs of memory on board and a further 8 gig micro SD card installed. It's expandable up to 32 gigs, so you can potentially have 40 gigs of storage. So there is no excuse for not downloading all 100,000 apps in Android market. Anyways, that's my take so far of the Droid 2. It's a manly handset for men. The reason I say men, If you look at it, it's quite a thick phone. The keys are nice and big to fit manly hands. Justin, it's not funny.
Sorry.
I'm actually straight and married and happy.
Yeah, that's fine.
I meant happy.
Well done.
Thanks. All right. Like I said, it's a very, very manly, cool handset. The keyboard itself was the initial draw to the handset for me. I love these slide-out keyboards. I was heavily disappointed because they've introduced something called swype, which I think will make keyboards disappear altogether. And what that is you can take one finger and swipe your finger across the on-screen keyboard. So let's type out Droid. So D-R-O-I-D, and you can see it's picked it up. You don't even have to put spaces. Let's type incredible. There you go. Suggestions? Excellent. It does the spaces and everything for you. There's some tests online, and people have been texting using swype compared to the keyboards, and swype is considerably faster. I don't know what your take on it is, but I love it, and I will never buy phones specifically for the keyboards again. Anyways, I like this handset, and for me personally, sorry, here's my Apple. There was my Apple. All right, thanks again to our friends at Verizon Wireless for sending this to us. We'll look forward to showing you guys some new handsets and devices as they come along. Follow us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/DeviceNews. We're on YouTube and Twitter. All right, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook.
And leave us comments everywhere.
Should they go to our website?
www.devicenews.com.
I'm glad we have a producer who memorizes these things. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.